Buongiorno, Enrico here, and welcome back to Brooklyn Cooking. Today we're doing polenta. It's a northern Italian dish that's basically made with cornmeal. It's a cornmeal mush. Its United States equivalent would be grits, just a different type of cornmeal. Uh, First, we're going to start off with the sauce, and we'll get more in the polenta part later when we start making the polenta. So we have only two ingredients basically besides uh, the tomato sauce. We have a marinara sauce that's already started on the stove. We have some dried Italian porcini mushrooms that we soaked already in water. This is the water. We wanted to hydrate them a little bit. And we have Italian sausage. You don't want the casing, so I'm just going to show you Italian sausage. You just want to cut out the casing. If you got if you have your own sausage store, if you can get the meat, the seasoned meat without the casing, make your life a little easier. But that's all there is to it. We're gonna brown the sausage, add it to the sauce, and then add the porcini mushrooms and the water. Now, when the water's soaked, there's some sand in the mushrooms. You just want to be careful putting it into the sauce. You don't want the sand in your sauce. All right, so we'll go to the stove and we'll get going. We have our sausage. We're going to start adding it to the pan and browning it. Don't crowd it too much. That little green stuff in there. I had one broccoli sausage in there. Ain't going to hurt anything. This looks pretty good. We're going to get this part off the stove. Add it to our sauce, stir it up a little bit, and get the rest going. So basically for this we had a little more. I had one can of large tomatoes, like 28 ounces, and I added a few of my garden tomatoes, so we probably got about a jar and a half of tomatoes. We have a drop more than 1 pound of sausage. Okay, so we're going to add the mushroom water to the sauce. You're going to see that there's some grit at the bottom. We're just going to stop it, stir it up a little. And that looks okay because we're going to cook it with the sauce. So, and we'll let it cook for 20 minutes, a half an hour, till it thickens up, and we'll cover it. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes since we added the sausage. Not really a timing thing. It's really, the sauce is ready. We just want to thicken it up because you want this sauce to be fairly thick with the polenta. And it's always a good idea to scrape down the sides of the bowl, make your life a little easier. So now we got our porcini mushrooms that we soaked, and we're going to dump it in. We'll let it cook another 10 minutes or so. This could be done before you do the polenta, and then you just add your sauce on top. So we'll let this cook, and then we'll start on the polenta in a little while. Okay, the sauce is made. It's now time to get into the polenta part. I might have not gave you a good view of this, but these are the dried porcini mushrooms. Actually, they're very, very expensive, like $80 a pound if you get the Italian ones. And you get a little bag, but this whole bag is only $5. It's no big deal. And I used half of it. Like I said earlier, polenta is like a cornmeal mush. It's just made with water and cornmeal and a little salt. Butter hardware is a nice, big, sturdy wooden spoon. This was the item of choice for our mothers and grandmothers in the 50s or 60s. For cooking applications and non-cooking applications. Basically, it's a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 parts water to 1 part cornmeal. We got 9 cups of water on the pot, and we have 3 cups of cornmeal. Most recipes are going to say use a fine cornmeal or a medium grain cornmeal, but for what we're using, for us and for our family, coarse is the choice. It gives you a little more grainier texture, and for what we're using it for. And there are even grains what they call instant polenta, but no self-respecting Northern Italian uses instant polenta. Like I say, this is a Northern Italian dish. It was actually made in Roman times, but there was a problem in Roman times. There was no corn. Corn didn't come into Italy and Europe until after Columbus in the 16th century. Before that, they used farro or other grains or even chickpeas to make a polenta. Then when corn was introduced into Europe into the 16th century, they started using cornmeal. Anyway, we're gonna bring the water up to a simmer and we'll get going. Okay, we got a light simmer. We're about ready to go. We're gonna add a little salt. I got 2 tablespoons of salt here. And now we want to add the cornmeal in a fairly steady stream by hand. The main thing we're doing now by adding it slowly and stirring is to avoid lumps. You don't want this to come to a boil. The faster it cooks, the more chance you have it to burn. If you see any lumps forming, you just kind of press it against the side of the pot. Okay, as you can see, I have a lot to go. We'll come back when I'm almost done. Okay, you can see we're almost done, and you can see the polenta pretty much we're lump free, if you can see it above with all the smoke. So we'll just pump in the rest slowly, no lumps. As Vinny said, in My Cousin Vinny, I didn't get my polenta from where Jack got his beanstalk. This is not magic polenta. It takes time, 20 minutes, but really this is going to take maybe 25 minutes. It's starting to bubble. It's getting ready. You may cut the heat down a little bit, but that's polenta. It's on a bubble. Be careful that it doesn't blup up and burn you. Now that it's all in, you don't have to be constantly stirring, but you need to stir. At least occasionally. You don't want it to sit around. We've been going for about 5 minutes so far. It's going to take a while. We'll be back as it's getting ready. This looks about ready. We're going to take a little out because I'm going to show you it soft serve. Put a little sauce over it. All right, the rest comes the fun part. We're going to dump this whole thing out onto the board. And we're going to try to mound this the best we can. Get a little wet spatula, makes your life a little easier because this sucker's hot. We have it in a shape that I want it, and we'll let it sit to firm up, and then we can cut it in slices. So we'll be back when it cools off and ready to go. Okay, while this is cooling down and setting up, I'm going to take the soft serve and give it a try. Very good. I'm proud of myself. I haven't made this in ages. Okay, it's set. We want to try to avoid cutting this with a knife if you can. The way to do this is with a little thread, a little sewing thread. Good thing my wife's not home. She would have a baby that stealing her thread. But anyway, we're going to just cut it in thin slices. We'll go straight through. Perfect. And we'll layer it in here. And we'll get another one. So far, so good. We'll go some more. Whoop. A little thicker thread would have been nice, but beggars can't be choosers. Leela wants some, but she'll have to wait like everybody else. Lay it down. Then we'll cover it with some more sauce. Want to layer it, put sauce in between, pretty much like doing a lasagna. But there's 100 ways to eat this. I got some leftovers. I'm going to finish cutting. My father was born in Manhattan back in 1909, and while he was born here, his family was from Milano, and he loved polenta. But the way he liked it was just like this. Put it in the toaster oven, sprinkle it with Parmesan cheese, and toast it. It's delicious that way. There's plenty of ways to do this. There's no rules. This is all cut up. This is something you can make a day in advance, 2 days in advance. It could just sit like this. You just heat it up when you need it. Or like this, you toast it with a little Parmesan cheese on top, mozzarella cheese, whatever you like. Put it in the toaster oven, put it on the barbecue, and you're good to go. Well, that's a wrap. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button so you can see more of them, and hit the like button. And arrivederci from Brooklyn Cooking, and see you next time.